chiropractors get frustrated because people, well, we have 4 frustrations. The first is people put off getting problems checked. We all have busy lives, and we'd probably rather be somewhere else than a doctor's office. Definitely understand that. But if you walk into your house and you see this discoloration in the ceiling and you're like, you know what, I'm kind of busy right now, I'll get to that in a while. If you wait long enough, what's going to happen? Yeah, I call it breakfast in the rain, right? A little problem becomes a big problem. And so now the roofer comes out, says, yeah, there was this pinhole leak in the roof. If I would have got to it in time, could have patched it for a couple $100. But now you need a new roof, new ceiling, new insulation. It's going to be about $10,000. So that lends strength to the idea that the 5 most dangerous words in the world, maybe it'll go away. Yeah, absolutely. I had a patient sitting out here once that said that he went to his doctor's office and talked about his problems, and the doctor said, oh, you're just getting older, you got to get used to it. So his 5 most dangerous words were, I thought it was normal, right? It's not normal. Common sense and reality is that something only goes away when what's causing it goes away. And so if you're not looking for what's causing it, then you're not going to get rid of the problem. Second frustration, we cover up problems. In fact, the drug companies spend millions of dollars a year telling us to cover up problems. Agreed? But would it make sense if I woke up in the middle of the night, my smoke detector was blaring, I just stumble out of bed, tear out the battery, and go back to bed? I got rid of that annoying noise, right? But did I get rid of the fire? No. We oftentimes deceive ourselves in thinking, well, I got rid of the pain, so the problem's gone. But you just kind of pushed it aside, and now the fire can get worse. All right, second question. The oil light in your car goes on. Good thing you have the duct tape, right? You can put it right over the top of it. No more oil light, right? Now, you can get a few more miles down the road if you do this, right? But how much damage accumulated? So we need to stop thinking about covering up problems. Third, people missing appointments. I already said we have busy lives. But your body heals on rhythm. So correction kind of happens in a rhythm. And so if you start missing appointments, we're not going to get the changes that we expect. It's kind of like if I was making this cake. If I'm making this cake, there's a certain list of ingredients that belong in that cake, and they have to be put in a certain timing. I can't just randomly put half of the ingredients in, stir it up, set it aside for 12 hours, and come back and make the cake, right? Because I'm not going to get this cake. I'm actually going to probably get this cake. It'll resemble a cake, but it'll be nowhere near what we were aiming for. Now, we realize that people lead real lives, right? But we want to set you up for success. And so if you call on Monday morning and say, I can't make it to my appointment this morning. Well, can you make it this afternoon? Great, not a problem. We'll just shift it to the afternoon. Or I can't make my afternoon appointment. Well, let's see you in the morning. If you say, I can't make it at all today, can I come in tomorrow? Not a problem, that stays within your prescription, not a problem. What happens that's not acceptable is you call in on Monday and say, I can't make my appointment. I'll see you at my next appointment on Thursday. Well, you already had an appointment on Thursday, and now we missed an appointment, and we're going to start sliding backwards. That's when Deborah or Ann will say, I'm not allowed to change the doctor's prescription. Let me ask Dr. Peterson what he wants to do. I might say, that's okay. We'll shift it to Thursday, but then we'll see you an extra time next week to get back on track. That's not a punishment visit. It's a visit to make sure we get our momentum back. Okay, so we're doing it because we love you, and we want you to get the best results. Fair enough? So we understand real life happens, but the most important thing to do is communicate with us so we can figure it out, right? So, good with that? I won't be scolding you. All right, the fourth frustration is we're in a hurry-up culture. Everybody wants it now, right? But we talk about that it takes time for the healing to take place. And you can't rush nature any more than you can have a healthy baby in 5 months. It just doesn't happen. And here's the fact. The health that you're living right now, you can't do anything to be healthy right now. The health that you're living right now is based on decisions you've made and things that have happened to you over the last 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years, right? The good news is there's lots that you can do today to be healthy a month, 6 months, a year, 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. So you're starting to build momentum going the right direction. So don't think you can do anything today to be healthy today, but there's lots you can do today to be healthy down the road. healing process. Let's look at a broken arm. The first thing they do when you break your arm is they set it back in place. But then what do? They do what? Yeah, they immobilize it with a cast, right? Now, it might hurt for about a week, but after about a week, it probably stops hurting. Is that the time to get the cast off? No. About 6 weeks in the cast. Then you get it off. It's a sweet, scraggly arm. You got to get it rehabilitated and strong again. So it takes about 6 weeks. So that's about that 90 days that we're talking about. And you can't rush it. But the principles for a healthy life start all the way back at the very beginning. And so the first system to develop after conception is the nervous system. It comes in the form of a notochord. It's a primitive brain and spinal cord. That notochord directs the formation of all the cells in the body. It turns into the central nervous system, and it controls the growth and the development of the fetus from 1 cell to 37 trillion cells of a fully formed functioning human baby in about 9.5 months. Pretty amazing, right? Now, once you're born, the nervous system doesn't take a break. It controls every process of your body from your first breath until your very last. Now, here's the good news. Most of what it does is automatic. You've been sitting here for about 40 minutes and you haven't had to decide whether you were going to breathe or if your heart needed to beat and which enzymes does my liver need to make, right? This is all good because I have trouble remembering to pick up the milk on the way home from the office. So if I had to remember all these things, I wouldn't live very long, right? But one of the most important things that the nervous system does is control the healing process. Every second of your life, about 100 million cells are being damaged or destroyed. So they need to be repaired or replaced. The nervous system controls that process. Now, they say every 7 years you get a whole new body, so if you don't like your body, wait 7 years, it'll be brand new. But what if there's interference with the nervous system over those 7 years? Are you going to be healthier or sicker? Sicker, absolutely. And so, to back that up, the Journal of Neurological Science says that the quality of healing is directly proportional to the capability of the nervous system to send and receive nerve messages. And it's send and receive, right? The messages have to go out to the body and come back from the body. It's a communication process. Now, if we rely on our healthcare system to deal with that, we have the most extensive healthcare system in the world. We have the most doctors, best medical schools, top hospitals, most advanced technology and equipment. We're #1 in the world for emergency trauma crisis care. It's amazing the lives that can be saved through modern medicine. Actually, it's amazing the lives that can be prolonged with like hip replacements and stuff that keep seniors more mobile and more active and stuff like that. But emergency trauma crisis care is only 1% of healthcare. The other 99% of healthcare, we're 79th out of 81 countries. Why do you think that is? We focus on that symptom relief model, right? The pharmaceutical industry. You think there's an incentive for them to sell you some drugs? 80% of their budget is spent on marketing. Americans spent $300 billion on drugs last year, and the combined profits of the top 10 Fortune 500 pharmaceutical companies was $36 billion, which I would not begrudge them if we were 1 or 2 in the world. But we're 79th out of 81 countries on total health index, even though we spend $2.7 trillion on healthcare each year. This is an old slide. I think it's up to $3.2 trillion now. So, is it your health or the stock value? It always amazes me that when the patent runs out on the previous miracle drug, that's when the new miracle drug is released. So that gives you the answer there, right? Another question that we get is, well, does my insurance pay for this? Well, is an insurance company responsible for your health? You know, health insurance has as much to do with health as life insurance has to do with life. Life insurance pays when you die. Health insurance pays when you're sick, right? And it seems like we tend to want to get our money's worth out of our health insurance, I think because the premiums are so high, right? When you spend so much on something, you want to get something out of it. But the more we use, the higher the premiums go. It's kind of like this. If you get into an accident, because nobody wants their money's worth out of their auto insurance, right? Because it means that you were in an accident. And if you're in an accident, your rates start to go up, especially if it was your fault, right? Homeowners insurance. You don't want you getting money's worth out of your homeowner's insurance because it means maybe your house blew away in a tornado. But again, we spend so much on premiums in our country that people say, I gotta get something out of it. But the more you get out of it, the worse it is for you. And if you're looking at your insurance to cover you for health, These are the guidelines that they operate under. This is the umbrella guidelines called Medicare guidelines that all insurance companies go by. So when we call and verify your benefits, this is what it says. A treatment plan that seeks to prevent disease, promote health, and prolong and enhance the quality of life, or therapy that's performed to maintain or prevent deterioration of a chronic condition is deemed not medically necessary. So it's not about getting you healthy. It's only crisis care. And even when they're supposed to pay, it's like a roll of the dice. So that's why we don't gamble with your health.